everyone, how you doing? This is Manga etc. and I'm here today to bring you the review for One Piece episode 692, and I'll just go through the episodes. So we start off with Luffy, Kiros, Cavendish and his horse, and they're at level 3 now, and like we left off in the last episode, we see these big toy soldiers, and the scene is basically about them running past the toy soldiers. Some of them start to attack, and these toy soldiers are like clumsy, like they're falling over, and then they start crawling to attack. And like I just said, the scene is basically about them running past these toy soldiers. I did like this scene very much because the whole mist thing and the whole background music, it made the scene seem scary. So I thought, yeah, this was a nice start to the episode. So then we move on to the whole Zoro versus Pika stuff. This by far was the best bit of the episode. We have Zoro cutting up Pika, like this is stone version of Pika, and they're also going blow for blow, while at the same time Zoro is still taking the piss out of Pika's voice. And then in hops Robin, Rebecca and Bartolomeo. They come flying along now, and Pika decides to cut them. I mean, not cut them, he decides to attack them. So he goes for a punch now, and it's in this, while he's punching, that we find out that there's a limit to the size of the barriers that Bartolomeo can do, but it's alright because in hops Zoro, and he's all start now, Santoru, and we get the attack that we've probably been expecting since he did the 360 pound cannon. We get the 1080 pound cannon now. I like that bit very much because in the manga we only get to see Zoro put the sword in his mouth, and the next thing you know we just see the end result of the attack. But within the anime we get to see the whole stance up, Santoru, then we get to see the wave, and we get to see the damage that it does afterwards. He cut Pika. It wasn't in half, but he cut Pika. Like, I'm gonna say 40%. Pika's huge. And he cut a substantial part, a big, yeah. You know what I'm trying to say here. He cut a big chunk out of him. So, that's impressive. Well done. I know some of you Zoro fans out there are going crazy right now. I can tell. I'm with you slightly. I'm with you. But then after that, Zoro is just there. More trash talk from Zoro. Basically, he's reminding Pika, it's not just Luffy, it's not just God Usopp you got to worry about. It's also me as well. I'm a threat here. Remember that. And then we move on to the next and probably the last bit. Really, we have a substantial amount of focus for the rest of the episode on the Smile Factory, and this can be broken down into two parts. You have the Tontata, you have half the Tontatas who are basically going on a rampage, taking over the Smile Factory, and then we got a few that are just basically trying to get the factory door open. The ones that are taking over the factory is just basically they're running all over the place while attacking like those foot soldiers that's in there basically, and then we have the ones that's just there opening the door. During this like bit of the episode, we get to see the manager now. She's hopped in because she's noticed the ruckus that's going on in the factory, so she's hopped in now to come and stop things now. And the first thoughts of this lady is that she's in the wrong verse. Like, she needs to go hopping into Luigi's Haunted Mansion or whatever that game's called, because you can't do much with a vacuum. But as I say that, we do get to see her sucking in some Tontatas, so she's good for Tontata cleanup, I guess. What we also get from this bit of the chapter, we get Frankie. He managed to trick Senor into leaving him alone, basically, enough for him to get into the Smile Factory, and I think that's where the episode ends, basically. Yeah, I think that's the majority of the episode anyway. I do have a few problems with this episode. The first thing I want to talk about is the whole Tontata bit, really. Like, the Tontatas are stupid. Like they're literally stupid. Why I say this is because we had the episode before, or if it wasn't the episode before, the one before that, where the Tontotters have learned that they've been lied to all this time, so they now know the truth. But in this episode, we have Tontotta getting lied to again, basically, and they're still believing the lies, even though they know the truth. Like, what we get from this episode is in order for the Tontotta to overcome the lies, they need to not hear the lies no more, which shouldn't be the case. You should know the truth in yourself and still hear a lie and be able to be like, no, that's not true. But that's not the case for them right now. And like, another problem is that we spent too much time with the Tontotta in this episode, and they're just basically, this episode was Tontotta's running around the smile factory. So that got on my nerves a bit as well. And that wouldn't be a problem if that's what the episode was like titled around, because the title of this episode was about Zoro versus Pika, and that only took up like a few minutes. I'd say 5 at most minutes of this episode. But the whole Tontotta stuff, the whole Smile Factory bit, that was the big majority of the episode, like 50%, not even, I'd say 70% of the episode. So the episode should have been something called like Smile Factory Takeover, if that's really the case. But yeah, I guess these things are a problem to me, is because I read the manga as well, so I can tell like how slow an episode is compared to a manga chapter. Like back in the day, you'd be getting like maybe two I'll say 2 manga chapters per episode. Nowadays we're getting like half a manga chapter per episode. Like, it's bad. Like obviously, if you're an anime only watcher, you may not notice this, but the pacing of an episode is fairly slow for a manga reader. Will notice it like that, like it's nothing. But there was some good things in this episode. Robin and them lot have caught up, so that's a bit of story progression right there. We're in Frankie's in the Smile Factory right now. That's some more story progression. That's the only 2 things I can think of that are really story progression. So I guess I'll move on to my rating. Like I said, because I'm not gonna give it a bad. I do think this episode was fairly bad, but I don't think it's fair to judge the anime based on the manga. I would always try my best to just focus on what I'm seeing like there and then in front of me. So like just the anime as itself as a whole. And I think that if I wasn't a manga reader as well, like I would have no problems with the episode. So therefore I'm gonna give it a 3-star rating. Just a typical average episode of anything really. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But please do tell me your thoughts and opinions of the episode. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and most importantly, take care, have a nice day. Another thing that I did forget to mention that I think would have been a better idea than how they did things, seeing as how the episode was basically titled Zoro versus Pika, they should have ended with that scene. I think they should have extended it, if not ended with that scene. Why I say extended, because obviously the episode was called Zoro versus Pika, and why I say ended with it, because it would have added to the hype of the £1,080 cannon. Well, that's what I think in my personal opinion, because like, you got in this episode, you probably got the majority of the audience on a high with that £1,080 cannon, and then by the end of the episode, you may have even forgot about it because the rest is just Tontotta running around But yeah, that's the last thought from me, guys. Share your thoughts and opinions. Take care, and like I always say, have a night. Enjoy the rest of your day.